Well, hey there. I am going to do my first cooking video for you guys. I know y'all keep asking for a recipe book and recipes, and since I haven't done that, I figure I'll start with a video. And we'll see how it goes, and we'll go from there. So here is the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm calling this the looking in the pantry and looking in the refrigerator, see what I have and use it. So make do with what you have is what I'll call this. So I had some leftover rice, a pretty good amount. I'd say this is probably, I'm going to say this is probably about 4 cups, 3 to 4 cups of rice, cooked rice that I made last night. And I'll have to make this for you guys later, but this is my flavored rice that I like to make. It's pretty simple, but I'll show you how to do that another day. So anyway, I've got the rice in the pantry. I found cream of chicken, and I found a chicken queso blanco. These are both soups, and obviously I'm going to mix them. We're going to see how that's going to go. So I've got those two. Then I also had a can of chicken breast. So we're going to use that. This is the 10-ounce can. And I'm going to drain this before I use it. I have one of those kind of small packs of steam fresh broccoli florets. I'm going to chop these up, and we're going to use these. We're going to throw these in. Then I have a big old bag of Mexican cheese. I don't think the cheese would matter, but this is what I had. So this is what I'm going to use. All right. So I'm going to chop up the broccoli. I'm going to mix all the ingredients together. I'm going to add this cheese in and kind of fold it in. Once I'm done, I'll let you know maybe about how much I used, but I'm going to guess I'll probably use like 2 cups of cheese. And then the 2 cans of soup, the can of chicken drained, chopped up broccoli, and the rice. So basically kind of like my obviously broccoli cheddar rice casserole that I make at the holidays, but I'm adding chicken in it to make it a whole meal. And then I'm going to put a topping on it that I think will make it even better. So I'll show you how to do that too. But for now, let me get to chopping broccoli, and then we'll mix it all up and we'll go from there. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So I've got everything in this bowl. You can see the cheese, the broccoli, the chicken, rice, soups, everything's in here. And that is probably about 2 cups of cheese is what I ended up putting in there. By the way, I just took a shower before I made this video, so no judgment on my hair. It's half wet, half dry, and I have no makeup, obviously. Okay. So I was also in the refrigerator, and I found this container of chopped garlic. So I'm going to put that in there as well, because garlic's always good in little casseroles. So I'm probably going to put, this is about the size of a teaspoon. This is a small spoon, even though it might look larger on the camera. So I'm going to put 2 spoons, so like 2 teaspoons of garlic. And it's just the chopped garlic that normally I would buy this like in the jar, but this happens to be the fresh stuff that came out of the produce section. So anyway, 2 teaspoons of that is what I just used. And then I also want to season this, and I'm just going to do basic salt and pepper and a generous amount. You don't have to be stingy with the seasoning. So I'm going to put a generous amount of salt, a generous amount of pepper. Obviously, y'all can do how much you want. And then I'm also going to use some onion powder. Now, if I had had some leftover onions or a small onion that I could chop up and put in here, I might have done that too. But I didn't, so I'm just going to use onion powder and at least get some of the flavor. So I'm being pretty generous with that as well. So between the salt, pepper, garlic, and fresh garlic and onion powder, it should be seasoned pretty well. So I'm going to give this a good stir, and then I'll be back. Okay, real quick, I'm coming back on because I'm stirring this, and I want you to see this. So I'm stirring it, and you see how it's kind of thick. It's kind of thick and like chunky, like it's not smooth. So what I'm gonna do when I make a casserole and it's like this, I add a little bit of milk and maybe like half a stick of melted butter. And that helps everything kind of come together and makes it just a little, I mean, for lack of a better word, just smoother. And it also adds flavor. Butter makes everything better. And so, but it's just gonna let this not quite be so like dry. It's gonna add moisture. So I'm gonna melt a half stick of butter, and I don't know, I'm gonna say 1/4 cup of milk, maybe 1/3 cup of milk. I'm gonna dump that in here, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. Got it all mixed in, the butter's mixed in, the milk is mixed in, everything's good. I feel good about the way it looks and the seasonings and everything else in there. So that's good. I've got my 9x13. I sprayed it with butter spray. I always like to use butter spray. Again, it just adds more flavor. So I've got that ready to go. I'm gonna take my mixture here. Obviously, just dump it in. Smooth it all out nicely. Make sure you get it all. Don't waste any. All right. Like I said, I didn't want to waste any. So I'm putting this all, just spread it out to where it's all even in there. And then once I get this done, I'm going to make the topping. So I'll be back to show y'all how to make the topping. Okay, I'm back. So casserole is in the pan, all nice and level. Now I'm going to make the topping. Whenever I make a casserole, like a one pot casserole kind of thing with meat and everything in it, I like to put some type of crunchy topping on it. I just think it adds a little something to it. You don't have to put a topping on it. I like to. You could just throw some cheese on top of it. If that's all you have, that's fine. Just throw some cheese on there and call it good. But if I have the ingredients, I like to do something a little different. So I use panko breadcrumbs. I like them because they're crunchier, and they hold their crunchiness longer than like regular breadcrumbs or something else. Some people like to use crushed up potato chips. That's another thing. I've also used in the past, when I didn't have anything else, I've used plain like cornflakes crushed up. But if I have them, I like to use panko breadcrumbs. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a cup of panko breadcrumbs, put those in, and then another cup of my Mexican cheese. I don't really measure this. To me, a cup is basically one good handful. So I grab a handful. You can't see me. I'll back this up. So I grab a handful. You see how full my hand is? Like that. And I just put that in. To me, that looks about the same amount as the breadcrumbs that were already in there. So I've always felt like one good handful of cheese equals a cup. And it's never failed me now, and since I've been doing it that way. So always turns out fine. For that other half a stick of butter that I didn't use, remember I used a half a stick of butter in the casserole. For the other half a stick of butter, I melted it, and I'm going to pour this into my cheese and breadcrumb mixture. So I'm going to go ahead and pour that in. I've got a paper towel wrapped around it because it's hot. All right, so that's in there. Let me get a little spatula. Okay. I have these little tiny spatulas for doing stuff like this. So I'm gonna get all the butter out. You definitely don't want to waste good butter. And this is real butter. You girls know I don't use fake butter. I like the real stuff. Now that butter spray, yeah, that's fake. That's like Pam or HEB brand or whatever. But when it comes to what's in the food, I like real butter. And when I cook in a skillet, I want real butter. So it's just better, cooks better, tastes better, just everything. So, but just spraying a pan, the Pam and butter spray is fine. If you don't have spray though, you can take a stick of butter and rub it all over your pan and still get, the good flavor, plus make your pan no stick. So anyway, I'm taking this butter, cheese, and panko, kind of getting that going. I'm just kind of mixing it up a little bit, getting it. It's going to be like crumbly. It's going to come out like a crumbly mixture. Now, I'm not going to add any seasons to this because I already have plenty of seasonings in the casserole. But I am going to add some parsley. I just like what it does to the crumble mix. It just gives a little something. So I'm going to add probably about, I was going to take this part off, make it faster, but I'd say it's about 2 tablespoons. I put a lot. I'm pretty generous with it. So I'd say 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to shake this for a minute. It takes a minute. And again, I just eyeball it because I know what it should look like. But it's a good amount. I'm not stingy with the parsley. Okay. So that's in there. And that's what it looks like. It's a good amount. So now I'm going to mix that in with my tiny spatula. And I'm just mixing. And you can see it's just getting real like crumbly. But that's good. You want it like that. That's the way it needs to look. So I'm going to keep on doing that. And that looks pretty good to me. So there it all is. You can see the consistency. You can see all the parsley throughout. You can see the cheese. Like everything in there's good. And it actually smells so good. You can smell that butter and the cheese. So, all right. So now I'm going to, what I do, I just dump this right in the center of the casserole. Just like that. Make sure you get it all. Don't waste it. So you get that in there, and then I just take my tiny spatula and I just spread it around and make sure every corner is good and coated. Don't leave out the corners because just like brownies, the corner's the best part. The corner of a crunchy casserole topping is the best part, I'm telling you. But, so get all in the corners. And make sure it's even all over the casserole so everybody gets a good amount on every bite. And then, once you get this all nice and spread around, I'm going to put it in a preheated oven, 400 degrees, 30 minutes to 40 minutes probably. When it starts bubbling, you'll know. And the top will be brown. You want the top to be nice and brown and crispy. If it's not brown, don't take it out. It's not going to taste good. You want it to almost start to look where it's almost gone past brown and it's about to look burnt. That's the perfect time. But 400 degrees, uncovered. And then again, the casserole needs to be bubbling and the topping needs to be good and brown. Almost burnt. Not burnt, but getting like one more minute, it might have been burnt, because you want it good and crunchy. I promise, you'll love it. So I'm gonna put this in the oven after I finish spreading this out, and then I'll come back with the final product. So the casserole's still cooking, but while it's cooking, I wanted to jump in here and say a couple things. So first of all, just realized I had Amazon packages in the background over there. So that's what those are. It's not trash or anything, just sitting on the counter. So I have to remember to clear off the counter next time before I start cooking. The other thing is, you'll notice when I send this to you, it's going to be on a YouTube page called Big Al's Cooking. And as y'all probably know, or if you remember, Daddy is always saying, you should open your own restaurant, call it Big Al's. Well, that's obviously never going to happen. And the name is funny though. So I decided, why not? If I'm going to do a little cooking tutorials for you guys, I can just call my page Big Al's Cooking. So that's why it has that name. So other than that, I think that's all I was going to say. I will tell you, the casserole's only been in the oven for 5 minutes, and I can already smell that topping, and it smells so good. So after I get done with this video, I'll probably put the ingredients under the video. I don't know how YouTube works. I'm going to have to look at that. Or maybe I can attach a picture to the end of this video with the ingredients. I can write them down. Maybe I'll do something like that. But honestly, you can't mess this casserole up. Even if you don't have the 2 kinds of soup that I had, you could use like cream of chicken and cream of mushroom. Or you could use cream of chicken and like a small block of Velveeta cheese melted. Or you could do cream of mushroom and Velveeta cheese. As long as you're doing like 2 creamy soups, basic soups, like you don't want to go get like, I don't know, nothing weird. I can't even think of anything weird really, but cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, cream of celery would probably be okay. Maybe not 2 cans of cream of celery though, because celery is pretty, it can overpower a dish. It's a pretty strong flavor. So maybe like 1 can of cream of celery and cream of mushroom. But anyway, you can't really mess it up as long as you have 2 soups, some cheese, some chicken, some broccoli, and some rice. And remember, the rice needs to be cooked. It will not have time to cook or to get soft with those soups or whatever. It's not enough moisture, and it's just not enough liquid. So your rice needs to be cooked to be better. And again, I will show y'all how to cook the rice one day, because that is my flavored rice that I like to do. It's not just plain white rice. But other than that, I guess that's all I really wanted to say, because like I said, it's all about just finding what's in your pantry so you don't have to go to the store. I try to do that as much as possible, not only because I don't want to go to the store, but because I need to use the things in the pantry or in the refrigerator or wherever before they go bad. I don't like to waste food. So this is a great way to do that, is making casseroles and soups. So I know for my first video, you probably didn't want to just see a plain old chicken, rice, and broccoli casserole, but I promise in the future, my future videos, I'll have more exciting and interesting dishes for you. Okay, I'm back and it's done. And just so you know, I looked at the clock when I started and I looked at the clock when I took it out, and it was, let me look again because I've already forgotten, but that took exactly 38 minutes in my oven, 400 degrees. So every oven is different, I know that, but for me, it was 38 minutes, and there it is. And you see what I mean? How the edges are starting to look a little burnt, a little dark, but it's gonna be oh so good. So I'm gonna let this sit. Maddie and Dylan aren't even here yet, so it can sit It can set a little better. Casseroles are always better when you let them set for like 10 to 15 minutes at least, I think anyway. And then maybe by then they'll be home and we can go ahead and dish this up. And then maybe I can get them to let me take a little video of them doing a taste test and we can see what they think about it. But anyway, here it is again. My broccoli cheese rice chicken casserole. I need to come up with a name with that. Broccoli, cheese, rice, and chicken. Yeah, got to come up with something clever. But anyway, here it is, final product. Everything you need in one. You got your starch, you got your protein, you got your veggie. Plus you got some dairy. And you got some bread. So you got it all. You got everything you need in one dish. So hope you try it one day. Let me know what you think. And I'll be back with the final like taste test and see what the kids think about this. So see you in a minute. All right, here's the first test.
Wait,
Ooh, it's crunchy. And here's the taste.
Oh.
It's gonna be hot.
That's
be careful.
steamy, bro. Wait.
I hear the crunch.
It's pretty good. Nice and cheesy.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's like a heightened version of the Thanksgiving casserole.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, because that's what I said on my video. That's kind of like my Thanksgiving casserole with a few extras.
With the chicken.
Yeah,
Nice
and
and
the
creamy.
topping.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like mush or anything.
Good,
Pretty
good. The rice didn't get mushy.
Mm-mm.
Nice, nice. Well, there you have it, people. Broccoli rice,
Make
cheddar
sure to-
chicken casserole.
Make sure to
Subscribe.
comment.
Oh,
Follow,
Like the video.
comment, like, share, all your friends.
Yep.
all right. Thank you, guys.